Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let me introduce myself first. I'm Khoiriah Liska Nopriliyanti, and I'm from PBI 1 2018. So in this video, I would like to explain about the chapter 3 of my research proposal. It's about research methodology. But before that, I would like to mention the title of my research proposal first. My research is the correlation between students' vocabulary mastery and their English speaking ability of the 11th grade students of Madrasah Aliyah Al Furqan Pampangan. And for the research problem in the study, the first is how is the levels of student vocabulary mastery of the 11th grade students of Madrasah Aliyah Al Furqan Pampangan. The second, how is the levels of students English speaking ability of the 11th grade students of Madrasah Aliyah Al Furqan Pampangan. And the third is there any correlation between student vocabulary mastery and their English speaking ability of the 11th grade students of Madrasah Aliyah Al Furqan Pampangan? And for the research objectives, the first one is to know the levels of student vocabulary mastery, and the second is to know the levels of students English speaking ability, and the third is to find out if there is any correlation between students vocabulary mastery and their speaking English ability of the 11th grade students of Madrasah Aliyah Al Furqan Pampangan. So let's start off with research methodology. The first part of the research methodology is research design. This study is a correlation study by applies a quantitative approach. A correlational study is a study to determine the amount of correlation between two or more related variables. In this study, there are two kinds of variable. The first one is students' vocabulary mastery as an independent variable, and the second is students' English speaking ability as a dependent variable. According to Creswell 2012, the independent variable is a variable that affects the result of the other variable, while dependent variable is a variable that is depend on the independent variable. Quantitative approach also applied in this study. Quantitative research is the research in which it analyzes new phenomenon, then compares or group or variable by using statistical analysis. And the next is settings and participant of study. The participant in the study will be conducted at Madrasah Aliyah Al Furqan Pampangan of the 11th grade student by using simple random sampling. And the total number of students is about 120 students from 4 classes. For the sampling technique, the research choose the simple random sampling technique for this study. According to Creswell 2012, simple random sampling technique is a quantitative sample selection technique in which the researchers select the participants to be sampled so that each population has an equal chance of being selected to represent that population. And Ari et al. 2010 have stated that the simple random sampling technique is the most widely used technique in probability sampling, has the characteristic that all members of the population have the opportunity to be selected to be included in the random sample of the simple random sampling technique has 3 sampling stages. And the 3 sampling stages, namely determining the population of study, naming all members of the study population of study, and selecting samples by randomly selecting number or names from list or table. And the next is step of sampling. The first one is the researcher determine the 11 grades students of Madrasah Aliyah Al-Furqan Pampangan as population of the study. And the second is the researcher make a sequence or name each member of the population using numbers. And the third is the researcher will mention one by one numbers that have been given to each member of the population randomly. And the next part is data collection. According to Khoiriah 2012, collecting data is a series of research aimed at obtaining, finding, and determining individuals for research and extracting information from questions given or observation made on individuals. There are 2 in the study applied the test for collecting data. The first one is a vocabulary mastery test. In this test, the researcher will give the student a multiple choice question with the total item 28 items. And the purpose of this test to know the student's mastery of the form, meaning, and use of vocabulary. And for this next is speaking English test. In this test, the researcher will apply role play by describing or telling picture, and each student has 5 until 10 minutes to do this test. And next, it's about validity of test. Validity of test is an important consideration in measuring, developing, and reviewing or evaluating measurement instrument. Cioto and Sodic 2015 have stated that validity is one of the benchmark and markers for good learning outcome test. So the first validity is a validity of vocabulary test. The vocabulary test used in the study was made by Nopriliyanti 2019, and its validity has been tested to measure students' vocabulary mastery. And the author of the vocabulary test had tried out 30 items that given to 36 students. And for the data analysis, she used the SPSS program, and the result produced 28 valid item. So the researcher prepared to use this test for the study. And the next, validity of vocabulary test. The next is validity of English speaking test. The validity of English speaking test will do retest, which will be done in several times. And in this test that will be given is a role play by telling or describing a picture that have been selected or given to student. And there are 5 pictures that will be randomly selected to be used in this test. And for the assessment items are such as vocabulary, pronunciation, fluency, and accuracy. So for the result will be checked by using SPSS, and the result of the validity of the test and retest will be used in the study. Next is reliability of test. Reliability of test is how the accuracy of research instrument is in making a measurement of something being measured, and the accuracy of the measurement result when repeated measurements are made. And Khoiriah 2012 have stated an instrument is considered reliable if when the instrument is used, it can produce a stable and consistent score. For the reliability vocabulary test has been checked by the author through retest twice, and after that she checked the reliability statistic using SPSS, and the result produced the coefficient alpha is 0.90, while the coefficient alpha standard was 0.60. So therefore the vocabulary test is adequate for this study. And then next is reliability of speaking test. The reliability of speaking test will be obtained from the result of conducting a test retest, and after that will be checked through reliable statistic by using SPSS to find out whether a speaking test to be used in this research is adequate and reliable or not. Next part is data analysis. For the data analysis technique, the researcher have to apply quantitative approach or a statistical analysis. According to Khoiriah 2012, quantitative research is a study that describes the phenomenon or trend of collecting numerical data using instruments, and is processed in using statistical analysis. In this study, there are several analyses. The first one is percentage analysis. Percentage analysis is used in the study to determine the levels of students' vocabulary mastery and their English speaking ability. And the researcher will use the SPSS or statistical product for social science, and then after that the data analyzed by using SPSS, the result will be seen through the percentage distribution table. So in this slide, this is a percentage distribution table that will be used in the study. The next is data normality test. The data normality test is a statistical test to determine whether the data taken is normally distributed or not. There are several kinds of the test to determine the normality of the data, but the researcher will be used Kolmogorov-Smirnov, which the significant value is more than alpha 0.05, and to carry out this test, the researchers use the 26th version of the statistical product and social science program. And the next is correlation analysis. To analyze the data obtained from the vocabulary mastery test and speaking ability test, and in order to find out the correlation coefficient of students. Of students' vocabulary mastery as a variable, is a independent variable, and students speaking English ability as a dependent variable by applying the SPSS program. And for the correlation analysis, the researcher applied the product moment correlation technique or Pearson correlation coefficient. The standard score of Pearson correlation coefficient range from positive 1.00 to start from positive 1 until negative 1. And the next, after that, the result of analysis from the SPSS can be interpreted by using the interpretation of correlation coefficient table. Next, and the last analysis is the regression analysis. The regression analysis is used to determine whether independent variable students' vocabulary mastery has a significant effect on or contribute to dependent variable students speaking English ability. And this regression analysis will be applied if there is a relationship or correlation between two variables. Regression is an analysis that relate to or focus on how one variable affect to another variable. And the researcher also used the statistical package for social science or SPSS program in calculation to interpret whether there is a strong or significant relationship to the variable. And additionally, the researcher used SPSS to all of the data analysis in this study. There are 4 analysis in this study. So I think that's all my explanation. Thank you for your watching. The last say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.